Hi everybody, happy March. I just wanted to say that I've prepared a really lovely journaling spread for this month. I had so much fun drawing and colouring and designing it, and I think they're getting better with every month. Let me know what you think. So we're 3 months in this year, and yeah, I mean, I can't believe that we are sticking with it. We're doing it together and it's a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's dig in. So this tutorial is a perfect excuse to get out all of your colourful pens. And maybe you only have a few and that's fine, you know, we'll make it work. But I've got a bunch of different colours here. And we'll also need a fine tip pen like this one. So this one's from Unipin. We'll need a pencil just to draw some guidelines, because we all know that's really important sometimes. It can be really helpful. I've got some Crayola pens as well, so I'm going to use this dark green. So literally you can get all of your green pens out. I'll also use this kind of like a lighter green from Pentel. I love its muted look. Then the next colour we'll need is some yellow. So I'm going to use my Tombow dual brush pen, but as I said, it can be any other pen, of course, as well. Now we'll need some lovely colour combinations. So to draw some flowers, so I recommend having something like this, like purple or maybe light blue. This will look really pretty. So try to see if you have any pens in these colors. Then I'll also use like pink with like a different like a lighter pink. So it's nice to have like two shades of two different colors that work really well together, and one of them is quite light, I would say. So I'm just getting mine out, and I think I'll go for these two shades, so like a pink color, like a darker pink, and more of a pastel-y orangey peach color. So those will be for flowers. We'll also need some pink to draw some tulips. So I'm going to go with this darker pink and also a different green. So I'm going to use this bright green. So you have 3 greens so far, but also only, you know, and also if you just have one, that's absolutely fine. Please don't worry. So yeah, I'll use these two to draw some tulips. And then what else have I got here? I think maybe a black brush pen would be good, and you know, any other colors that you'd like to use. Maybe a couple of neutrals would be good as well. Just see what you've got. Okay, so a ruler is important, so we'll need that as well, and that's actually something we'll begin with. So we're going to start with the left side of your journal. So I've clipped my page there, so it's easier to work with. And I'm grabbing my ruler and I'm going to draw a straight line towards the left edge of the page. Now, we want to leave a bit of room there, so make sure there is like a nice edge. So I'm trying to do it in the most straight way possible. So I'm just measuring it out as much as I can, and I'm going to draw another line. So we're basically drawing like a little rectangle. This line isn't very straight. Let's see, I might need to correct it, but this is what we're going for. Just like a rectangle shape right in the middle of your page, if you can. So yeah, I might just erase mine and make it a bit more straight. There, so that's a bit better. There we go. So this is what we're going for. So once your rectangle is ready, we're going to go ahead and maybe just erase it slightly so it's not as visible, because we don't really, it's just for guidance, so we don't really want to have it visible when we finish with our design. And by the way, I love this eraser. It's by Pentel and it's just really good. It's not often that I come across good erasers, so I thought I'll let you know. So now I'm grabbing my fine tip pen, and we're gonna do this really fun thing where we start drawing this wavy line, just following these guidelines. And be careful when you approach the edge. You kind of want to continue the line as smoothly as possible. So notice what I'm doing. I'm just doing this one continuous movement without picking up my pen. Now I've done it once, and we're going to go ahead and do it again. So the second line can overlap with the previous line, creating this really natural looking kind of weaved look. It will look really beautiful. So there, I am pressing quite hard as well. So this is the finished look. I'm quite happy with it. The upper right corner is a bit funny, but I think I'll make it work. So now I'm just erasing this pencil line. As I said, we don't really want to have it visible. Once that's all gone, I'm going to go ahead now and draw some really simple leaves. So just like a simplistic leaf shape. So I'm continuing with my fine tip pen and drawing these simple leaf shapes all around. And the trick here is to kind of draw them in different directions if you can. So some of them can be going down, some of them can be facing kind of towards the bottom of the page or towards the top of the page. You can change the direction as you like. So I am kind of mirroring both sides as I do them. So here I'm just changing a direction, so now it's going upwards. So yeah, play around with this a little bit. I might speed this up, but we want to go around this little wreath and just fill it all in like this. And as I'm doing this, I'm also adding in this like a detailed line inside of each leaf. Now I'm grabbing my Crayola pen, so this green color, and I'm starting to color in each leaf individually. And you can either just do like a thick brush stroke and let it color in itself just from this one stroke, so it looks a bit imperfect, or you can color in properly. So again, I'll speed this up, but take your time. This should feel nice and relaxing, just going around your wreath and coloring everything in. I'm calling it a wreath, but it's more of a border, isn't it? So now I'm just grabbing my black pen again, and I'm going to draw little circles all around. So these will be little flowers, so just add them in wherever you like. There's no right or wrong, so try to do quite a few. It'll be a lovely yellow detail, so keep going until you're happy with the amount you have. I just realized that my sleeve was dirty. I just fed my baby. He's starting solids and everything's so messy. So yeah, I had some food. I had some parsnip puree on my sleeve. So yeah, I rolled that up so you don't have to look at it. So yeah, I've done these little circles now, and we'll continue by stretching out some stems outside of this border. So I'm gonna do one here, so it will look like this. So this will be a flower that we'll do in two different colors. So we'll start with this, just like a simple shape where we draw 3 simple petals like that, and then we're going to add on the second color. So I'll use blue. So I'm just showing you here how I'm then adding another layer on top of that initial flower. So it definitely needs to be a lighter color for it to look the best. And I'm doing that to quite a few stems. So notice how I popped quite a few of them inside or like also outside of this little border, and just keep going. You can use, I'm just using purple and blue and also pink and peach for some other ones. And you can do all of the flower heads first and then start adding in little leaves like this. So I'm using the different green to draw these little leaves, and I'm going to do that to every single stem. So again, take your time here. You can pause this video, and I like to add in maybe quite a few leaves. It doesn't just have to be 2 leaves for each stem. You can do as many as you like. So I'll speed this up, but take your time until you're happy with the way it looks. So now I've started adding in these yellow flowers. So I'm just grabbing a yellow pen and drawing I think 5 or 6 petals around each of these black circles. So you want to be quite, generous with the size. They can look quite fluffy. So they look like little daffodils. I mean, the color looks like daffodils, but it kind of references spring, I think. So yeah, see if you can change some of the size as well. Like some of them can be small. But yeah, carry on. And then I'm just adding these 3 dots around the flowers in peach colour. You can use any colour for this, but it's quite nice to add like a little detail, like little dots. It just brightens everything up. So yeah, I'll let you catch up. Feel free to, again, pause the video, do this step properly before we carry on. And when you are ready for the next step, we're going to add in some lettering. So we're going to just letter hello March. And I'm just using a pencil to kind of try and map it out and see where I would position it. I mean, I don't have too much room there, so it might be the same for you. So it might take a few tries to kind of see where would be the best place for your words. And once you have your draft ready, feel free to go over it with a brush pen. I might just use a black brush pen. I mean, mine's really old, so let's see how that goes. So yeah, my pen is definitely very, very frayed. I'm not sure what I've been doing with it, but I think it's just really old. So yeah, I'm taking my time, trying to do it really, really slowly, and I might even use a fine tip to correct my strokes. So once you finish your lettering, you'll probably want to just have a little moment and see if you need to add in any more flowers or correct anything. So I had this big gap at the bottom just below the word March. So I decided to blend in some more flowers to balance it out a little bit more so that it looks like, you know, the lettering is kind of wrapped in flowers. But this is pretty much the end result, and I personally really, really love it. And this could be used for greeting card designs as well, with any phrase on the inside. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed creating this with me. I'm just erasing the pencil lines just so that it looks all nice and tidy, and we're going to move on to the second part of this spread. So we're gonna use the right side of the notebook, so a fresh page. So I'm really excited. So the first thing we're going to do is just letter month at a glance. So we'll be doing a little calendar again, and we're going to do it at the top of the page. So let's get started with that. I might just use a brush pen. So I'm just thinking of the color. So I decided to use this purple Pentel pen, and I'm trying to keep my lettering fairly small. And I'm just starting with the letter M, and I'm going to try and fit it all in on one line, even though it's quite a long phrase in a way. But yeah, just be mindful of the size of your lettering. It always ends up looking bigger than you plan, I find, at least. So yeah, let me know if you can relate to this. But there you go. You can also just use your handwriting, of course. It doesn't have to be brush calligraphy if that's not something you're familiar with. But I highly recommend giving it a go if you do have any brush pens. So there, I've done the lettering. Now I'm just going to use a pencil first to kind of map out where I'll position my little calendar. So we are looking for this little kind of like a square, more of a rectangle shape. And before we do anything else, I think it would be a really good idea if we like plan out the rest of the elements. So we're not going to do them properly just yet, but just kind of plan them out. So we're going to do this little habits tracker in the middle. So if you could do like a long rectangle like this in the middle, and then we'll also do like important events, like a little rectangle for that, and also like important goals, just your goals for the month at the bottom. So just try to plan it out. And then on the left side, we're going to draw some lovely tulips. So that's going to look really pretty. So yeah, that's the initial plan, but just know you can always change it around, of course. So yeah, let's see what happens, but let's just carry on with this calendar first. So month at a glance. So it's really useful to see the calendar in front of you, know which day is, you know, the weekend and just have it all laid out for you. So I'm going over this rectangle shape with my fine tip brush pen, and I'm intentionally adding this like a double line or even like a triple line at the bottom and on the side, just to kind of show that there are more pages behind, kind of imagining. I'm also going to try and show this like little spiral, you know, that usually holds the page together. So I'm doing these little C shapes and I'm colouring them in. You can do as many as you like. There, so that looks quite nice. Now the next thing I'll do, and let's do this together, I'll just write all of the days, so the first letter of each day, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm just using a fine tip pen again and kind of like my normal handwriting. Just make sure you have space for all 7, and I might erase the pencil lines again just to make it look a bit more neat. And now it's just a case of filling in the numbers. So March started on Friday, which is exciting. I mean, not really. Not that I do anything special on Fridays these days, but yeah, so the first is on Friday and they just carry on, and it's an interesting month because it ends on Sunday, which is the 31st. So it's just really neatly filled in. It just looks really neat, doesn't it? So we get 5 weeks pretty much, almost 5 in this month. And I just love doing this. And as I do every day, it's like I'm imagining the month ahead, and I'm just being mindful about it, and there's something therapeutic about it. So yeah, just make sure you keep your numbers really, really small so you have enough room for all of the lines. There we go. So that's our calendar done. You can also circle some important dates, of course. I might just highlight all of the days with my Ecoline brush pen. So just adding like a thick brush stroke through. You want to make sure that your pen is dry. I think mine wasn't quite dry, but it looks okay. Right, so I want to write habit tracking. So habit tracking here. So I had to erase that rectangle just so I have enough room. And I'm just going to use this really simplistic, kind of natural looking writing. I'm still kind of applying pressure on downstrokes, but it's not calligraphy really. So just making it look natural. So you can try this with me. So I'm just writing habit tracker. And now I'm going to just erase this whole guideline that I drew before and just draw on top. So this is what I mean, like it's nice to have some initial guidelines, but you can always erase them, which is good. And now I'm just going to do this rectangle right underneath these words, and I will kind of divide it. So I'll take this much off it and just draw a little line, and this is where I will write what habit it is that you want to track. So habit trackers are great because you can say, you can write any habit there. I'll just write reading, but you can do anything like exercise or even practicing calligraphy or going for a walk or doing yoga, healthy eating, anything. So I'm just going to write reading. And the way it works is that now we will add in all of the days on the right side. So I'll just show you. I'm just using my pen to draw this little outline. There. And now I'm going to just do a line of as many days as I can. So starting with 1 and half, we'll need to finish with 31. So just be mindful of that again in terms of the layout. So I'm probably going to need to do 3 lines. Just keeping my numbers really, really small. And the idea is that every day you'll do this habit, that you'll implement this habit. You'll circle the day in a particular color. and we're going to add in a colour in a minute. But so let's say I did some reading today, so I'm just going to circle today in blue, and at the end of the month I'll see all of the days that I did do a bit of reading, and it'll just be nice to see how I kept up with this habit, because this is something I would like to do more of. So there we go. I might pick blue, like a nice blue colour, to then colour in this little section that says reading, and then circle today, because I did actually do a bit of reading today, this morning. So I'm colouring in this little section. So pick any colour you like. So I'm going to just be mindful that my brush lettering is dry enough, but it looks okay. Just giving it a good colour, and just circling the first, the number 1, because I did some reading today. And let's say I don't do any reading on the 2nd, but I'll do some reading on the 3rd. So again, I'm just going to circle. I'll do a little blue circle on the 3rd, and it'll just be nice to see what it becomes at the end of the month. Okay, so now we're going to draw this tiny little, I mean not tiny, but smaller rectangle. And this will be for some important dates. So if you have an important date you'd like to write down. So again, I'm going over, starting with a pencil and then going over this line with my fine tip pen, outlining it. And I might add in a little detail there, so it looks like I'm turning the page. It's a little 3D effect, more of a 2D. But yeah, you get it. So now I'm going to do events. So any events, maybe you've got something exciting going on. I'm probably just going to write down my classes for the month that I'll be teaching. But yeah, just handy. I think it's really useful to have it in front of you. And we can add in some brush strokes there as well, just to make it look a bit more pretty. There we go. I love highlighting with brush pens, especially if you have like a chunky pen. It looks really good. Okay, so now whilst I'm here, I'm just going to finish this last rectangle before we do a bit of drawing. So this is for goals. So I'm going to use my black or maybe pink. I'm going to use my pink pen to write to letter goals. And you can use your natural handwriting, of course, as well. But we're going to then draw this little kind of like a frame around it. So the lettering is in the middle and we're just working around it. So it's like the word has become part of the line. There we go. And I'll just write down any goals there for the month. So think ahead, see what it is that you like to achieve, because chances are, that if you do write it down, it'll be on your mind more, and you'll see it in front of you. You might take more action towards it. I always find that it's so helpful to map out your goals at the beginning of the month. So there. So these are all of the journaling sections we'll do today. I'm just erasing any pencil lines again. And let's go ahead and draw some lovely tulips to finish this layout. And you're probably going to need your bright green or any green. You can use any green. And a fine tip pen to draw the stems. So I'm going to start by drawing the stalks first. So we're going to do, let's start with one. So I'm going to do this like parallel line. So I'm going to do 2 lines like this. So it can be quite curved to look more natural. So that'll be the stem of the flower. And I'm starting to draw this tulip. So I'm just doing each petal separately and going back to this main base. So I'm going to do 3, let's say, and then I'll just draw some more like layers. Imagine there are some layers behind, So these little kind of half ovals at the top, and I'm going to add in, I'm just going to zoom in so it's easier, and I'm going to add in some lines in there as well, just to kind of show a bit of shadowing or texture. So this can look really, really good. So I love this perspective of the flower. It's kind of like, it's like you're looking at it from sideways. It's really pretty. And now I'm just grabbing my Tombow brush pen and I'm colouring in this lovely pink colour. There we go. And I might actually add in some more lines there because they kind of disappeared, to see if you want to add in more detail as well. And the next thing I'm thinking of doing is drawing some leaves, of course. And tulips, they have these like big leaves, don't they? They kind of start at the stem, at the very base of the stem. So, and they're also very often folded. So I've done this one in two parts. So I've done the first part and then just added in this section kind of on top of it. So I'm doing this again. So the first initial leaf and then adding in kind of another section behind. And this just creates this like folded effect. And I'm adding in some more lines to add texture again before I colour it all in green. So just using my green brush pen and just going over with some pressure over the stem and colouring in by pressing down on my brush pen, and it only takes a few strokes. You can also leave some white areas as well, just to kind of show some natural highlights. And I'm thinking of doing 3 flowers like this. And I'll try to show you how I do the flower heads from like different perspectives. So let's do this one together. So I'm starting with like a wider center, and then I'm doing these 2. It looks like wild hair kind of around this middle part, and then I'm adding a little section at the top as well, and also like a little line on the first petal I drew. And now when I'm colouring it in, I'll leave out this little part at the top of this first petal, just to show a bit of a dimension there, so it looks a bit deeper, so there's a bit of depth going on. So yeah, this can look really, really interesting. So once I colour it in, you'll see it makes sense. So yeah, definitely looks pretty. So that's the second perspective you can try. It's just like another perspective, and I'll add in more lines. So I'm just going to do these 3 lines stemming from the base, and this will look quite good as it is, I think. And just adding in more leaves again, colouring them in. So starting with a fine tip pen and then colouring in. And I'm just thinking how I want to stretch my third flower to make it look kind of natural. So I might actually add in some more leaves from like at the bottom, because they do kind of always look like they're quite big and they come from the ground almost. So yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll plan my next flower. So let's say it's kind of coming out of there. Try to make it look natural, imagining how the stalk might be hiding behind some leaves. And this flower head will be quite kind of round looking. So I'm going to do this shape first. So I'm kind of doing this on purpose where the top of it is quite wavy. And then I'm adding in 2 more petals from each side. So, and then also adding some little petals that might be showing from another side. And I might just do 1 line here like this to again show a bit of depth, and this looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and colour this in, and this is it really. So I might add some leaves and just go over some areas again with a fine tip pen to finish it off properly. So take your time to finish it as well, and There we go, this is the end result. I'm really happy with this one. I hope you enjoyed it too, and I would love to see yours.